Hello friends, welcome to Antenna 3 lecture series. Today we will discuss about the aperture match horn. So it is the type of horn in which we have made so many dimensions and the modification in the dimensions to improve the directivity of the horn antenna. Also it will improve the gain of the horn antenna. In last video we have seen the corrugated horn and there are some advantages regarding with the corrugated horn over the normal horn antenna. Also, using this corrugated horn, the bandwidth can be increased. Also, the gain of the antenna can be increased. But there are some disadvantages and limitations regarding with the corrugated horn. So, to overcome these limitations, the aperture match horn are introduced. So, first of all, I will quickly review the corrugated horn. What are the advantages and disadvantages? So, there are some description points regarding with the corrugated horn. We can say the corrugated horn has optimum gain horn, typically has high side and the back lobes, which can directly attributed to the large edge diffracted fields. So in order to improve the situation, dual mode corrugated horns are designed, which greatly reduce the field incident on the aperture edges and consequently associated with diffraction. The frequency bandwidth of such design is decreased as compared to the optimum gain horn. So one can achieve improved pattern performance over 10% frequency band using this dual mode horn. So the corrugated horn provide means to reduce edge diffracted field or broader frequency band by using corrugated surface in the interior horn walls. Okay, this is a modification can be takes place in the horn antenna, that is it provides corrugated surface on the interior of horn walls, so as to reduce the edge diffracted fields. Okay, that means at the edges of the opening of the waveguide, or we can say horn, there are some diffraction. So due to this diffraction, the side lobes of the horn antenna can be increased. We can see from the radiation pattern of the horn antenna, there are so many side lobes and some one back lobe. So to reduce the side lobe and the back lobe, the corrugated horns are introduced. So with the sufficient long corrugated horn, one can expect improved pattern performance over nearly 2:1 bandwidth. Okay, so that using this corrugated horn, the bandwidth can be increased. So the corrugated horn can provide significantly better pattern performance than conventional horn antenna. But there are some limitations regarding with the corrugated horn, that is using this dual mode corrugated horn philosophy. There are so many dimensions in the horn that are so be adjusted. The introduction of the corrugation creates additional reflection which tend to modify the horn impedance. That means there is some horn impedance which mismatch. So we have to adjust this horn impedance with respect to modification done in the corrugated horn. Those are more sensitive, more frequency sensitive, and the structure is complex and costly. So to overcome this limitation, the new antenna was introduced, that is aperture match horn. So these are the images of aperture match horn antenna. We can see at the opening of the horn, or we can say at the aperture of the horn, there is curved surfaces attached to overcome the limitation of corrugated horn. So this is the modification can be done in the corrugated horn to make it more reliable and more efficient as compared to other antennas. The modification is the attached curved surface is provided at the opening of the horn. We can see this from the figure. So we'll see some descriptive part of the aperture match horn. So in order to obtain horn with improved pattern and impedance performance without greatly sacrificing the size, weight and bandwidth and cost, Let's consider the second option. The second option is nothing but the aperture match horn. So to improve the pattern performance and overall efficiency of the antenna without sacrificing its weight, its bandwidth, size and the cost, the aperture match horn were introduced. So this can be done by modifying the horn, which is shown in figure 1. We have seen this figure, that is figure of aperture match horn. This can be done by modifying the horn by attaching curved surface section to the aperture edges so that the resultant junction is smooth to the touch. So we can see this. There is attached curved surface at the opening of the horn so that the resulting junction is smooth to the touch. This curved surface section can be arbitrarily smooth, convex shape. This modified horn is called as aperture match horn. It is known as aperture match horn in that curved surface are attached to the aperture edges in order to form matching section between horn modes and free space radiation. Okay, so the basic aim behind this providing the curved section at the opening of aperture is to match the impedance between wave, waveguide and the free space radiation so that it will ultimately decrease the reflection of the radio waves and also it will reduce the diffraction so that we can reduce the side lobes and the back lobe in the radiation pattern of the antenna. So please remember what are the modification takes place in the corrugated horn to make it as a aperture match horn, that is attached curved surface is attached to the opening of the horn, and the basic aim of the providing curved surface is to match the impedance between the horn and the free space. These curved surface are very smooth so that it will ultimately improve the pattern of the antenna and it will ultimately improve the performance of the impedance performance of the antenna. So there are some graphs. We will quickly see that graph. That is the first graph shows the back lobe level and the frequency. As we can see, there are two lines. That is first one is a corrugated horn. The dotted line shows the conventional horn antenna, and the second dotted line, which is aperture match horn antenna, which is in almost straight line, and the continuous line is of corrugated horn. So we can see from this figure the relation between back lobe level and the frequency. As the frequency in gigahertz increases, back lobe level will be decreases. Okay, back lobe level means side lobe. We can say the side lobe level or the back lobe level is related to the back lobe of the radiation pattern. So as compared to corrugated horn and the conventional horn antenna, the performance of the aperture match horn is improved. We can see this from this graph. As the frequency in gigahertz increases, the back lobe level will be decreased. That means the unwanted signals can be suppressed using aperture match horn. So this is aperture match horn antenna diagram, which the modified throat section, that is curved surface, is attached at the throat section. So we can see the last graph is the measure of VSWR for various horns, that is voltage standing wave ratio with the frequency. There is also two plots, that is first one is original NARDA horn, NRDA horn, and the second one is aperture match horn antenna. So we can see from this figure or from this graph, as the frequency in gigahertz increases, VSWR, that is voltage standing wave ratio, is decreased, or we can say it is constant up to 1 to 1.0.5 value. But for the original horn, it is very high, that is up to 1.1. So we can see that aperture match horn provides improved performance in voltage standing wave ratio as compared to original horn. So please remember these two plots. This is modified throat section of the aperture match horn, which is more impedance matching performance can be improved. So this is all regarding with the aperture match horn, how it will overcome the limitations of corrugated horn, and how ultimately it will suppress the back lobe level and side lobe level. So I have made one extra point regarding with the side lobe level and the back lobe level, that is SLR and SLL. We will see this. Hello friends, welcome to Antenna 3 lecture series. Today in this session we will discuss about the side lobe ratio, that is SLR, or it is called as side lobe level, that is SLL. It is most important in the radiation pattern of the particular antenna or in the directive antennas. It is mandatory or it is necessary to suppress the side lobes in the radiation pattern. Okay, that means there is less loss of energy and the directive pattern of the antenna will improve. Also it will improve the directivity of antenna. So what is SLR? That means side lobe ratio. We will see in the definition. So the definition shows the ratio usually expressed in decibels in dB of the amplitude at the peak of main lobe to the amplitude at the peak of side lobe. So that means it is a ratio of amplitude at the peak of main lobe to the amplitude at the peak of side lobe. Okay, that is it is expressed between main lobe to side lobe in the thing of amplitude. So in the description we can see that in antenna engineering, side lobes are the lobes of the far field radiation pattern of an antenna or other radiation source that are not in the main lobe. Main lobe is nothing but the your major lobe or main directive lobe towards the particular direction. It will show the properties of antenna, that how will direct the particular electromagnetic waves towards the particular direction. But it has some side lobes or some back lobes that we have to suppress. The radiation pattern of most antennas shows a pattern of lobes at various angles, directions where the radiated signal strength reaches a maximum, separated by nulls, angles at which the radiated signal's strength falls to 0. So there are some lobes and some nulls in the direction pattern or the radiation pattern of the antenna. So that we have you have already learned about the half power beam width and first null beam width. This is also definitions regarding with the side lobe ratio or in the radiation pattern. So the radiation pattern of most of antenna shows patterns of lobes. Okay, so in the radiation pattern of most of the antenna there is a various lobes, that is major lobe, minor lobe, back lobe, side lobes. So on that lobes there is side lobe ratio can be improved. So there are some nulls also that are separated by some angles. In the last point, this can be viewed as a diffraction pattern of antenna. In directional antenna, in which the objective is to emit the radio waves in one direction, the lobe in that direction is designed to have larger field strength than the others. Okay, that means it is main lobe. So main lobe has high field strength as compared to other lobes. The other lobes are called as side lobes and usually represented unwanted radiation in undesired direction. That means side lobes are unwanted radiation. Okay, this is not good condition for any antenna, that it has higher side lobes. So the main lobe is the lobe which has higher field strength and directed towards a particular direction. Also it has larger beam width, and the other lobes are side lobes. So we will move forward. The side lobe directly behind the main lobe is called as back lobe. Okay, the side lobe which is exact behind the main lobe is called as back lobe. The longer the antenna relative to the radio wavelength, the more lobes its radiation pattern has. So there are some disadvantages of excessive side lobes. So in transmitting antennas, excessive side lobes radiation waste energy and may cause interference to the other equipment. Okay, it may leads to interference with the other equipment. So this is not a good condition. Another disadvantage is that confidential information may be picked up by the unintended receivers in receiving antennas. Side lobes may pick up interfacing signals or interfering signals and increase the noise level in the receiver. That means there is so much loss of energy, waste of energy due to the side lobes. Also, some due to receivers, they can catch the confidential information which are leaked by these side lobes. Also, it can pick up some interfacing signals and increase the noise at the receiver. The last thing is, the last point is the power density in side lobes is generally much less than in the main lobe. Okay, the density of power is very much less than in the side lobes. It is generally desirable to minimize side lobe level, which is measured in decibels relative to peak of the main lobe. So you will completely understand what are these lobes, that is side lobes, main lobes and back lobe from this diagram. Okay, we can say there is two diagrams. The one diagram shows the radiation pattern of the particular antenna. It may be a directive antenna. We can see the major lobe which is in red in color, that is main lobe. It there is so much side lobes, okay, which are in gray color. These are the side lobes, has very low field strength, and the lobe which is exact behind the main lobe is called back lobe, which shown in blue color. So these are the lobes in the radiation pattern of the antenna. So basic aim is to suppress the side lobes which are shown by this gray color, which will lead the unwanted information can be leaked through this antenna. Also, it may rise to loss of energy, waste of energy during transmission, and also there is so much interference during reception, and also it will increase the noise at the receiver. So, to avoid these harmful effects, there is so much techniques are employed which will suppress the side lobes of the particular antenna, and it will improve the directivity of antenna. So, I think you have clear what is SLR, that is side lobe ratio. That is, it is a ratio of amplitude of peak of main lobe, that is peak of the main lobe shown by red color, to the amplitude of peak of back lobe which is shown by blue color. So please remember this definition for the SLL or SLR, that is side lobe level or side lobe ratio. We can see the levels in the second diagram. There are so much side lobes which are shown in the diagram. The middle one is the main lobe, which has highest directivity as compared to side lobes. So the side lobe level is shown in this figure, that is it is ratio of, or we can say it is difference between amplitude of main lobe to the amplitude of side lobe, or we can say back lobe. So please remember these two diagrams. Also the main lobe, back lobe and the side lobe in the radiation pattern of the antenna. We have to remember this radiation pattern for each antenna, and also its directivity and the position of side lobes and the back lobe in various antenna and types. So this is regarding with the SLR and SLL, side lobe ratio and side lobe level, which is very important